Hey folks, it's time for yet another custom lesson. This one has been requested by evafox. Now, before I get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I want to highlight two things. One, please do stick to this format, as you can see here. Weapons, guardian spirits, soul cores, and enemy. It makes it really easy for me to go through. If you want to have walls of text, which I would prefer not to read, but if you want to have walls of text, put it afterwards. I just want to know what the baseline stuff I'm working with, and then if you have any considerations or any confusion about anything whatsoever, you just need help, list it afterwards so I can just display the stuff clearly. It just helps me out. And then second, everybody who asks for it within reason gets a custom lesson, okay? Doesn't matter. Don't have to worry about that. However, if you do decide to become, I believe it's a tier 2 member, which I called novice tier, then you get priority on your custom lessons. What does this mean? You move to the very front of the queue. Otherwise, it's pretty much first come first served basis and whatever I feel like, so it can feel a bit random. And then if you want to see videos sooner, like your lesson sooner compared to the general public, then of course there's the tier 3 adept version of my membership, whatever. And so yeah, if you want to pay more and just get stuff sooner, and then yeah, that's what the memberships are for. But otherwise, this is for everybody. No one's going to be excluded, provided it's not like the dumb requests or anything like that. In any case, let's get on to the meat and potatoes of this. So evafox requested katana with whatever secondary, and so I picked Tonfas. And one theme that evafox was going for was generally capitalizing on damage for Tate Eboshi. So Kurama Tengu is the primary spirit. The secondary guardian spirit is Nekomata, and I'll explain the reasons for that. And then soul cores, again, it can be literally anything, just wants to see Tate Eboshi. And then I will later fight the first samurai version of Otakemaru. So one thing before I get into the guardian spirits and soul cores and whatnot is to note that I am using slightly different weapons this time. I'm using Demon Horde weapons simply because anima bonus grapple. That's it. I wanted something to help me with anima generation, and if you're not starved for anima, you don't need it, then you don't need these weapons whatsoever. And yeah, you can see otherwise the theme is pretty much the same: life drain, active skill, key damage, key consumption, yada yada yada. And same with my Demon Horde Katana. This does not have life drain active skill, which sucks for me, but it does have purity and it does have anima bonus grapple. And since I'm going to go with a purity guardian spirit, purity based things, then I wanted to at least have one of my weapons inflict purity. And then you can see it has key damage, which is great, and purity with key damage is extra bonkers. Now let's get on to the guardian spirits, where I'll talk about a few things. And so let's get right to it. Now, first thing, I'm using Kurama Tengu, and let's talk about the first core, Tate Eboshi. Tate Eboshi is one of those weird cores that can feel really awkward to use. Now, you'll see this right now. There are 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. The third hit is where the bulk of the damage comes from. It knocks human opponents flat, and you can actually, on bosses, get like a final blow. So if you're able to pull off this final portion of the hit, is pretty ridiculous. Against yokai enemies, it staggers them, and it can inflict a lot of damage. But it can be very tricky to use. And so many players shy away from this, particularly because of the recovery time. Now, as you can see, I have rank 16. I was just boosting it because, hey, if I find a really cool Tate Eboshi core I want to use, then I can basically not only get it to an ethereal, but also just give it a ton of levels or a bunch of rank right away. So that's pretty much it. Otherwise, nothing on this really stands out. Amrita earned yokai ships, cool, I guess. Item drop rate, okay, cool. The increased attack Amrita absorption, as far as I know, does not scale irrespective of the soul core rank. So yeah, pick whatever Tate Eboshi you want. I picked Feral because it's a Feral Guardian Spirit. Now, the thing with Kurama Tengu is that its stats are overall pretty cool. Active skill, key consumption, great. Now here's what makes things a little crazier. Yokai ability damage on purified enemies is boosted. That's actually really good. So I want to inflict purity, which is why you saw me have the Tonfa in the beginning. But there's other things that I've chosen to really try to amplify this as much as I can. Dodge key consumption is great. Key recovery unscathed is also great, but I'm really trying to capitalize on this. But at the same time, and as you'll see soon enough, I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket. So it's not just going to be, hey, you have to have this condition in order to kick butt. But let's talk about when things can go right. And now I'm going to showcase a soul core that I don't see get used too often, and that is Mitsume Yazura. Mitsume Yazura is a unique core in that it adopts the element of your guardian spirit. So in this case, there's fire being shown, but you'll see because I'm using a purity-based guardian spirit, you're going to see purity-based beams, which is really great. When it comes to things like soul core rank, I didn't bother, like, whatsoever. Rank 6, cool, I guess. Anima charge critical really isn't anything that impressive, and as you can see, these stats are kind of like, okay, whatever. So I just got a generic one, and that was pretty much it. Made it feral, and I was done. And yeah, I can inflict purity at will, and an AoE against a bunch of targets. Man, I'm getting tongue-tied. And so I can basically satisfy this condition whenever I need to. Next, I got Wheelmonk, because Wheelmonk is super troll. We hate getting run over by Wheelmonk, so it's our turn to become the Wheelmonk, alright? Can't beat them, join them, right? So Wheelmonk is very interesting in that it's really powerful. If you've seen players, Twitch streamers such as Zelod, he makes great use of Wheelmonk to just like literally run over an opponent. And it's just, it's one of those soul cores you'll feel like is just straight up dirty. It's so fun to use. Now, when it comes to maxing out, say, stats on this, as you can see, the only stat I seem to care about is Yokai Ability Key Pulse, but I would recommend boosting this core up as much as you can so you can get the anima bonus for scorching an enemy. So enemy scorched means it's when the status is applied, as opposed to scorched enemy, which means when they're on fire. So it's a bit different. So this is quite a lot for the first time you apply it, and against groups of enemies it can be really valuable. Just get that sweet anima, and with Wheelmonk, it basically means you can keep Wheelmonking, and it's a lot of fun. So I'll showcase that in a bit. Now, the dream, I guess, scenario would be that I inflict fire, I inflict purity, confuse an enemy, and get this bonus of yokai ability damage for a purified enemy to really capitalize on Tate Eboshi damage. That's when everything works really well. But what about the scenarios where that's just not going to happen? Because we both know there are situations where it's just not going to be feasible. So that's where the secondary guardian spirit of Nekomata really starts to come into play. So I wanted something that I could fall back upon, and that is where these soul cores really come into play. Now, what's nice is you have yokai ability damage feral. I have all feral cores, so they're all going to get boosted by some percentage no matter what, as you can see here, which is what they share, and it's pretty cool. But now let's get into the soul cores, and that is, I started with One-Eye Oni. I needed something to help me with key damage, and One-Eyed Oni is one of those cores that I find kind of just gets swept under the radar. It does a lot of hits, it can knock enemies off balance, and it's generally really good for key damage and max key damage as well. I found one that happened to have anima bonus grapple, great, and that's literally all I cared for. The soul core rank is just, I was probably just changing the color of it a few times for other purposes. So yeah, this is a lot of fun, and I'll showcase it in a bit. Next, we have Tatarimokke, Owl Soul Core. I do not get this, I don't see this that much. I literally don't. And when I've used it, I've been very surprised at how absolutely powerful it is. It's one of those like sleeper overpowered soul cores. You can quite literally zero key loop many yokai enemies if you know how to use it. I think the reason people don't use it is because they perceive this to have a very long animation and very long downtime. It does a tremendous amount of key and max key damage. It is stupid. It is not very good against enemies who are blocking, however. It is really good, though, for key damage, and I'll showcase more about that soon enough. Last but not least, I wanted a quick cancel core that I could just rely upon no matter what, and so Kiryoki is just good for that purpose. It has yokai ability Key Pulse, it has an anima charge bonus I can rely upon, which is reasonable enough, but again, I didn't go too hard on it, which is why you don't see a crazy soul core rank. Also, last thing, if you're a fan of ninjutsu, anima bonus ninjutsu hit on Nekomata is super awesome. So you have other options to fall back upon in case the game plan of, say, purifying an enemy, confusing an enemy, using Tate Eboshi to kill them doesn't work out. You have other resources to work with, ninjutsu, and just a ton of key damage. And so before I showcase anything cool, let's get into what each of these soul cores is like in terms of animation downtime, starting with what's on Kurama Tengu, and then I'll talk about how to really work with it as well as cool things. So as a reminder, I'm going to see the soonest my character will block, so I'm going to hold block as a soul core animation is playing out. This is again referencing input buffering, which is a lot of fun. So let's start with Tate Eboshi. Tate Eboshi has a very long animation, long recovery time, long downtime before my character blocks. So what does this mean? You gotta plan it. You gotta know when to use it. It is 3 hits. There's a lot of forward motion, and yeah, the last hit is where the bulk of the damage comes from, and it's very powerful if you can nail that last hit. But again, very tricky. Now what about Mitsume Yazura? As I mentioned, it adopts the element of your guardian spirit. So purity, right? It's a not too long animation, but there's a little bit of a downtime before my character will block. And then last but not least, Wheelmonk. Very quick animation overall. And you can block very quickly. So this is one of your really fast cores. Now let's talk about these 3 soul cores again, just in terms of how to really work with them as opposed to just input buffering properties. So Tate Eboshi, tracking is really wonky, like straight up wonky. Let me showcase this. All right. It's nice when it hits, don't get me wrong, but there will be moments where you can just miss and it can feel pretty bad. So I'm gonna try to showcase it. Dude, why am I hitting all the time now? Fun. Okay, well, I basically did it without showcasing any downsides. I find that enemies that are a bit evasive and dodge away can be very troublesome for Tate Eboshi to hit. It's great when it does connect, and as you saw, it gets a knockdown. Come on, I need it to be a little awkward. And it's great if you trap enemies in a corner, but see, like right there, I missed. And that feels really bad. So my advice is keep a little distance as you make your way towards the target, just in case the target decides to veer off. Then the tracking doesn't feel as bad. That's my personal way of going with it. So I usually create some distance, and then yeah, Tate Eboshi ain't too bad. So let's say I want to strike right here. So as opposed to being right here, let's maybe dodge 2 paces back. And see, I mean, even then, it can be pretty troublesome. So I think I would just advise dodging back real quick, creating some backwards distance because you're going to propel yourself forward. And so yeah, it can be pretty cool. Alright, with Mitsume Yazura, like I said, it adopts the element of your guardian spirit, and if you were paying attention in the custom lesson involving Nioh, then you'll know that Mitsume Yazura can also apply the element of your secondary guardian spirit with some fancy finger play, tech shifting, whatever. So let me show you how to do this. So check out my inputs over here. So prime the yokai ability button, dance switch, ready? Okay, hold that down. And then what you want to do is use Mitsume Yazura and switch to Nekomata at the same time. It can be very tricky. And I would advise trying to press them as quickly together as possible. I usually do the ability and then switch, but I have to be very mindful of it. So it's almost like something I gotta like pause and do. It's not something I can do on instinct. But yeah, you've got access to 2 elements, purity and lightning, which can be really handy. So keep that in mind. When it comes to Wheelmonk, as you can see, the turning radius is as such. So you can't do super sharp turns, but it is pretty hilarious in that you can just like ram an enemy over and over and over again, and it can feel so troll. So let me actually showcase this. Before I do, if you want to stop using it, just let go of the yokai ability, because you will automatically travel. The left stick is just controlling the direction, so if you want to stop using Wheelmonk, just let go of whatever button you have it attached to. So let me showcase some Wheelmonk stupidity. Are you ready? Become the Wheelmonk. Look at this, this is just so dumb. Yeah, let's go, man. Let's go to town. How's it going, dude? Alright, you're dead. So if you want to do drive-bys, use frickin' Hot Wheels. It's a good time. Now, what about the secondary Guardian Spirit Soul Cores? Alright, so Owl. Long animation time. Not the quick... It's not the longest quick... not the longest recovery animation, but Here's one thing that's cool. You summon a lot of yokai realms, which then you can purify, and if you do a perfect key pulse, you can get some anima back, which is pretty awesome. Alright, pretty awesome. I'll showcase how to really work with it soon enough. A Kiryoki is super fast. Fast animation, fast, very little downtime. So this is going to be a very quick core. One-Eyed Oni is a little interesting. Long animation, but what's strange is that you can input buffer before the animation even expires, which is kind of weird. Something you're going to have to get used to, by the way. But yeah, it's also a little interesting in that the way that it hits. Whoa, that is awkward. Let me restore that. So if we pay attention to One-Eyed Oni, all right, you can see that it's hitting in a certain anti-clockwise fashion, right? And it also seems to be hitting diagonally down. So I would advise almost like being slightly to the left of your target so that you can get those initial punches, and then it's not too bad. Let me showcase this against a human opponent. So you want to get those initial hits, and then everything will kind of connect. Get up! Kiryoki says get up. Let me showcase key damage with Owl. That's pretty good, isn't it? Honestly, I don't think the dojo does it justice. I've seen some ridiculous amounts of key damage, and when you mix this in with Purity, it gets even stupider. Alright. Go Owl, do Owl things. I honestly, my experience in like actual missions is that this does more key damage than is suggested. It's really good for max key depletion. Alright. Kiryoki does Kiryoki things. One-Eyed Oni does One-Eyed Oni things. And then I'm gonna kill this enemy and then showcase some little things you can do with Yokai Shift before I get on to working with the whole package and really understanding how to kick some butt with this. So alright, I guess I'll show Nekomata first. Alright, let's do some things. Go One-Eyed Oni. Oh, too far away. So yeah, Yokai Shift can sometimes be a little far away when you use One-Eyed Oni. Alright, back up, pop Nekomata, Kiryoki. Let's go in, One-Eyed Oni. Oh, that's beautiful. And of course, if you have time, don't hesitate to use Owl. So maybe you want to start by doing Nekomata into Owl, which ain't too bad. So you can slow them down while you get that key damage, which can feel extra sick. Now what about with Kurama Tengu? So Kurama Tengu is going to be a little different. I like to usually just make sure I get that Purity application off. Got Wheelmonk, can do Wheelmonk things, attack a bunch. Let's queue up Tate Eboshi for a whole host of damage. As I've mentioned in other lessons involving Tate Eboshi, this is a chord that if you may want to use when you're basically out of Yokai Shift gauge. When that gauge is about to deplete, do Tate Eboshi, there's basically no downside. Sure, you may not necessarily get all the hits, but you're not gonna die. And even if you whiff, it's not a big deal. Now let's showcase some cool weapon-based things. I actually want to shout out a video, a cool tech that I recently learned called the Dancing Quick Draw. It's a fun name. This was actually made by A Grey Dawn, and I'll have that linked, or one of the YouTube cards and stuff. So let me talk about what that is. So you know how you can sometimes overshoot with Mountain Breaker, right? Like if you're close range, you'll just like overshoot and stuff. So here's what he does. He does Mountain Breaker, Kanagi, and then evasion cancels, switches to another weapon, and then does like a sword-based ability. So that's actually the main reason why I picked sword and Tonfa. It was mostly just to highlight that. It's kind of one of those fun techs that you can use. I'm actually admittedly not that good with it. He's really good at it, so I'll let his video showcase how to work with it. But yeah, it's certainly a lot of fun. So mess around with that. But in any case, Sword Tonfa itself is really good for pressure. You have access to timely guards. You've got one of the quickest flash attacks available. So when it comes to human-based play, you can really keep their ki really low when you utilize things like a Zuna drop and just Tonfa-based play altogether. So this can be a really fun combo to work with. Got all sorts of interesting things you can do. Sword alone can be pretty cool. And when you start mixing in yokai abilities to cancel all sorts of undesired behavior, it can be a whole lot of fun. So let's just showcase weapon-based play with the cores, and then I'll mix in some yokai shift, just to give you a couple of ideas. Alright? Here we go. Go! Oh, I screwed that up. Let's try that again. Oh, come on! As you can see, I'm not that great with it. Come on, buddy. Hey, how's it going, man? Reverse impact into Kiryoki. Oh, he's dead. Okay, let me try one more time. Let's go with Tonfa. Oh, I didn't want to demon dance that. Come on, let's do Tonfa things again, please. Alright, let's do that. Let's go. Okay. Inputs ain't doing what I want them to. Oh, it's super dead. Let's try this against a Yoki. Maybe I'll have better luck there. Alright, so what do we got? Let's go in. Go Kiryoki, do your thing. Mitsume Yazura, thank you. Wheelmonk, let's go. Get that Scorch. Swallow's Wing into Tate Eboshi. Oh, you backdash. This is great. You're dead. Great. If enemies have too much distance, Tate Eboshi actually works in your favor, then as opposed to being up close. So, yeah, it can be a lot of fun. Let's try some other things. Let's go. Oh, you're going to be far away from me? That's cute. Alright, yokai shift. Let's add it in, man. Why the heck not? Alright, let's get that confusion. Oh, get wrecked. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. So yeah, alright, let's go back to the human, beat him to a pulp. Get to work. Hey, I'm gonna run you over with my taxi. What's up? Oh, I'm sorry. You're dead. Let's try to use Tate Eboshi against a human. Because of course humans are really tiny. In comparison to big ol' yokai. Alright, come on, come on. I know what I want to do. Hey, hey, no, no, no. No, no. Okay. Go over there. Oh! 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 Yeah, giving you those sweet ideas, right? I know you like that. You know what? I'm just gonna run you over. You think I care? Does it look like I care? The answer is totally no. Alright, let's switch to sword. Please dodge away. Oh, that's okay. You don't have to dodge away. You're just gonna die anyway. But yeah. A lot of fun things you can do, but I will just let my gameplay coming up just showcase that as opposed to talking about it. I know there's a lot to consider, but let's just leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching. For now, I'll be back and we'll go tackle Suzuka's brother. Family, huh? Can't live with them, can't live without them. In this case, quite literally. I'll see you guys in a bit, right? Alright, enough awkward times. Let's go. See you guys in a bit. Alright, it's time to put this into action. So this scroll is kind of peculiar because I'm playing Suzuka, I'm using Tate Eboshi. In other media, those two can be the same. And then of course I'm fighting Otakemaru, who is Suzuka's brother. Fun stuff, right? So anyway, let's get to the gameplay. So with Sword and Tonfa, I am trying to put as much pressure as I can. Tonfa's really good for that, and Sword has a lot of moves that I can take advantage of with sheet swaps and the like. Now with Fuki, I gotta be quite careful. This enemy is a massive threat. I'm lucky enough to break its horn. I inflict purity, and then BAM! My turn. Get that burst counter into that shifting grapple, and it feels extra good. But yeah, now I try to be a little silly with Wheelmonk, which was admittedly quite the risk. But fortunately, it's dead. So I guess it worked out, right? I wouldn't advise using Fuki on Wheelmonk on a Fuki that has full ki because you could probably die. In any case, I'm dealing with really annoying enemies. Foxes and Oni bees. What do? They stagger me. They interrupt me. They freaking suck. So let's just kill them real quick. Thank God for Lightning Stop Talisman so I don't have to get slowed down and interrupted for days. In any case, what's the next enemy we have? Next enemy is simply Kinki. So Kinki is an enemy that, while it can deal with a lot of physical punishment, it cannot handle elemental-based pressure. So you'll have a really easy time applying elements. And so confusion is your friend against this. And then I guess I use one I don't need to be thematic to show who's really the boss. I don't need you, Kinki, man. I don't need you. In any case, confusion makes Kinki so much easier, so definitely use it. I use Wheelmonk. I tried a Flowing Shadow, but it didn't really work in my favor. And then, alright, what you gonna do? Oh, you're gonna do the good old drop kick, right? Reverse impact to the groin, and he's dead. Now on to the main enemy, Purple Otakemaru. So this guy is extra tanky and extra deadly. And yeah, but you know what they say about family. Can't live with them, can't live without them. In this case, we're gonna make sure we live without them. So I am using my Tonfa right now because they are purity based. My sword, if it was purity based, I'd use that. But yeah, I'm just trying to deplete his ki, nullify that curse, so I can maintain a lovely rhythm that really helps me out. And you're gonna see that happen as soon as I'm able to deplete his ki. So use Owl with a little bit of downtime. Oh my god, the max ki damage. Oh, that is, oh my god, oh! Yeah, that's pretty devastating. Now, even though the damage output I have right now is pretty low, keep in mind that Otakemaru has 3 times the health as he normally does because he's purple, alright? So it's pretty crazy. So if you fight like a red one or a normal one, this will basically take you a third of the time. In any case, I am taking advantage of the yokai shift combos I talked about in the dojo, and I'm going to switch over to Kurama Tengu because I really want to showcase some power with Tate Eboshi. Kurama Tengu into Mitsume Yazura, get that purity, charge right in, Tate Eboshi, oh, he dodged back, glorious, and I got a great amount of damage, charge right in, use Wheelmonk to get some confusion, and then let's just get that grapple. Ooh, very, very nice. Very, very nice. So I've taken him out, third of his health, and so I'm trying to reapply purity because that's my strategy. Purity, use a lot of my yokai abilities to deplete ki and then go for those maximum damage punishes as I can. So let's go. Let's get that ki down. Very nice. Switching to Nekomata. Kiryoki. Excellent. Ooh, good damage output there. Alright. I know it's going to take a while, but not to worry. It won't matter if he's going to lose all his ki. One mistake I made just there, and you may have noticed the owl just kind of like moved way above his head, and that's because its tracking and its relative speed is kind of weird. So you might think, hey, I need to make sure I plan the owl like specific time later and wait a few seconds. It's actually not the best idea. So look how soon I'm going to throw out owl. I throw it out even before he goes into the Dark Realm, and at least 2 of the projectiles hit. And that's certainly a lot better than that other time in which all of them missed. So it's okay to throw it out earlier than you might think because it's such a slow projectile that by the time it lands, they'll have refreshed their ki and then you get their ki out anyway. So just keep that in mind. It's definitely pretty powerful. So I think, am I going to do it again? Or am I going to use Mitsume Yazura? Okay, so I'm going to purify him so that I can get the most bang out of my buck when it comes to doing ki damage. Tate Eboshi, please hit. Oh, come on. Feels bad. Feels really bad. For whatever reason, it just doesn't hit him as often. I don't know what's the reason, but oh well. Not to worry when I have so many chances to murder him. Alright, am I going to use Tate this time? Yes, yes, please hit. Oh, the damage is unreal. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When Tate Eboshi can hit, oh my god, it is so good. So, take some practice with it, and when you can work with it and really know like the hitbox of it, oh my god, it is so dirty. Alright, so what you're doing, you're spamming your soul core. That's great, buddy. That's great. Don't worry, I'll spam soul cores of my own. And so, alright, back to the game plan. Deplete the ki. Kick at the butt. Let's go into Yokai Shift. Let's do some super damage. Let's finish this guy off. Alright, Nekomata, not the best placement. Oh well, Owl nullifies most of his ki. Oh my god. Oh dear lord. It's so dirty. And Otakemaru's nearly dead. I was hoping to finish up with Tate Eboshi, and you're gonna see I missed the last hit. Oh man, it felt so bad. But not to worry, I come up with a pretty risky finisher to say the least. Severing Spin, that's right. You ain't got nothing on me, bro. So good ol', yeah, just casually killing members of your family. In any case, I hope this custom lesson was enjoyable. Thanks for watching, and of course, if you'd like to see a custom lesson for yourself, make sure to leave it in the comments below. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.